MashaAllah, MashaAllah, MashaAllah. You've burst the hearts open with your beautiful praise for God and for God's beloved. Thank you, dear and beloved sisters. May you and may all of us, inshallah, be rewarded with companionship, with fellowship, with beholding the face of the Habib in the realms to come. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, wassalatu wassalam ala ashraf al-makhluqat wa sayyid al-mursaleen. Thank you so much, dear beloved Imam Khalil. Thank you, dearest Arshe and sweet Radia, beloved by everyone here. And thank you to our dear brother Imam Sohaib, who for so many of us has always embodied what it is to be prophetic, what it is to embody the adab and the manners and the etiquette of the beloved, not in a book, but in a human being. So let's see if, inshallah, we can share some of this beautiful love for the Prophet today in the time that we have, inshallah. You know, we are told sometimes that when the Habib was being taken on the Mi'raj, and he was taken from Mecca to Al-Quds, and may all the people of Quds be liberated and free. When he ascended from there to the highest heaven, stopping in every station to meet the previous prophets, marveling at their fellowship together, that Jibril brought him to the highest realm of heaven, and at the immediate threshold of the divine, Jibril stopped. It came to an absolute halt, and the Habib told him, "My friend, you've been my companion. You've brought me from Mecca to Jerusalem through heaven. Why stop here?" And Jibril answered, "It's because from this point on, the intensity of God's love is so great. I am but an angel, might be an archangel, but I'm still an angel. And if I take a step as wide as one of my feathers, the width of one of my feathers, all of me would burn up. But you, O Muhammad, you are love. You are mercy. And love can enter into love. Mercy can enter into mercy. Nur can enter into Nur." So our beloved Habib went forth into that mysterious presence of God. He describes it at one point as, "I stayed there for so long that I had no sense of time. I had a moment, a waqt with my Lord." That's all that any of us are ever aspiring to, is to have a real moment with our Lord. One with full presence, one in which we are present, because God is always present. This is one of the gifts that the Habib gave us when he said that the salat, the namaz, is the mi'raj of the faithful. So if we can pray with that presence, if we can be worthy of being called Ibnul Waqt and Bintul Waqt, children of the moment, where we're not dwelling on the past, we're not merely hopeful or even fearful about the future, but we can be here and now. then we can have one little taste of what it is to love and behold the Habib. There have been many who've come in his footsteps. The great South Asian Sufi Abdul Qaddus Gangohi at one point says, "Had it been me, by he in whose hand is my soul, I swear I would have never returned." Iqbal quotes him. But of course, the Habib returns. He is most perhaps in this way like a bodhisattva. It's not about his own personal illumination. When God offers him the choice of staying there or coming back, he is too modest to say yes or no to God. The only word that he can utter is ummati, my people, my people. So it's for your sake, for my sake, that he returned to this realm, this beautiful, transient, occasionally messed up realm, so that we too can, inshallah, rise again. To walk in the footsteps of Muhammad isn't about the length of a beard. It's not about what size pants you wear or how far down they come. It's, do we have the manners of Muhammad? Do we treat those around us the way that he did? He at one point says that my Lord refined me until my adab, my manners, became lovely. That's what we're after. That's why we're here this evening. Some of the great sages that we have always remembered that the prophets are not some UPS delivery man. They don't bring you the Quran and drop it on your doorstep. They don't just take you a signature to know that they've delivered the Quran safely and soundly to you. No, they become the Quran. As Hazrat Aisha says, his nature was the Quran. As they say in Africa, some people become the walking Quran. And Rumi's great teacher, Shams Tabrizi, says at one point, I believe the Quran not because it is the word of Allah, this is the poetic exaggeration, I believe the Quran because it came through the mouth of Muhammad. Right? Poets are allowed to speak dramatically. I want to share just a few simple teachings that have touched my heart when it comes to the Habib, and I hope and pray that some of it may also, inshallah, touch yours. So let me come over here. So I have the great blessing of taking some friends periodically to Turkey and Morocco. It's this wonderful program we have, Illuminated Tours. Here's a picture that we took a few years ago when we were in Morocco. It is in the shrine of Imam Jazuli in the beautiful city of Marrakesh. And Imam Jazuli wrote a wonderful prayer book expressing his devotion to the Habib, called Dalailul Khairat, that which brings goodness and blessing. It's divided up into the days of the week, so every day you read one portion of it, and it's heartfelt and gentle and so sweet. O God, bless Muhammad, as many as there are grains of sand in all the deserts of the planet. O God, bless Muhammad, as many as there are drops in the ocean. One line that I particularly like, O God, in this world, we did not have the honor of seeing him with our eyes. So in the world to come, do not deprive us of the blessing of beholding his beauty. And if the Habib is the Quran embodied, if the Habib is the very first commentary on the divine message, here's one very simple way of how we can come to go into a much deeper place in our faith. So all of you, all of us know, for example, the Surah Fatiha, opening chapter of the Quran. Maybe you've even looked at some different translations to see which one speaks to your heart. Think about that line, Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim, oh God, guide us to the straight path. The path straight, the road straight, all these different translations that we get. Well, if you read Imam Jazuli's blessings on the Prophet, he has something altogether more simple and more heartfelt. Imam Jazuli's book, and here's one beautiful printing of it that I have. As you can tell, it's a litany of blessings on the Prophet, begins with a listing of the Asma al-Husna, the beautiful names of God, which is followed by another list, Asma al-Nabi, the names of the Prophet. Some of these names resemble the divine names. After all, the Prophet is the embodiment of those beautiful divine qualities. And as you're reading, you come across one that makes the heart just burst open in a simple line. Ni'matullah, blessing of Allah, hadiyatullah, gift from Allah, urwatan wuthqa, the firmest bond, siratullah, the path to God, and then it comes siratan mustaqim. Siratan mustaqim is not just some abstract idea of the straight path, it is the Prophet. When in the Fatiha, you and I and all of us and the animals and the plants pray to Allah, Ihdina as-sirat al-mustaqim, we are praying to be guided to the Habib. If we are guided to the Prophet, surely we are guided to Allah. And among our beautiful Turkish friends, you oftentimes see the example of two roses, one of them for Asma al-Husna and one of them for Asma al-Nabi, side by side. In South Asia, our Pashto-speaking poets have always said that before the time of the Mi'raj, all the flowers were white. When the Habib rose to heaven and heavenly flowers saw his beauty, they blushed. And ever since then, we have pink flowers and red flowers. All of these poems and stories are there to remind us of his incomparable beauty, mercy, justice, integrity, dignity, nobility, and love. In Morocco, if we ever have a chance to go, you will see that there are tombs of the friends of God, the awliya, and this one is probably my favorite. It is the extraordinary tomb of Ibn Mashish, simple Sufi who wrote an extraordinary poem in praise of the Habib. And we've already heard some beautiful recitation today, but I cannot have a Mawlid without letting us listen to this piece. It's a young woman, probably 13, 14 years old, who is singing the prayer of Ibn Mashish for the Habib. We're going to listen to about a minute of it, inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على من منه انشقت الأسرار وانفلقت الأنوار وفيه ارتقت الحقائق وتنزلت علوم آدم فأعجز الخلائق وله تضاءلت الفهوم فلم يدركه منا سابق ولا لاحق فرياض الملكوت بزهر جماله مونقاه وحياض الجبروت بفيض أنواره متدفقاه ولا شيء إلا وهو به منوط أعوذ بالله
اللهم صل على من منه انشقت الأسرار. O God, send your blessings upon him from whom burst open the secrets of the heart. When falaqatin anwar, and from whom stream forth the lights. This is the beauty of our faith. Listen to these words in describing who the Habib is. فَرْيَاضُ الْمَلَكُوتِ بِزَهْرِ جَمَالِهِ مُونِقَةٌ. The gardens of the kingdom, spiritual kingdom, blossom with his beauty. And the pools of the celestial realm overflow with the outpouring of his light. And there is nothing that exists except if it's connected to him. This is the Habib. This is the one who is connected to all, connected to the Ummah, connected to humanity. This is the one that as Allah is Rahman and Rahim, he is the Rahmatun lil Alameen. We sometimes have a chance to also go to Turkey. Many people have been to the Sultan Ahmed Mosque, which the tourists for some reason insist on calling the Blue Mosque. And there's a Mawlid connection here as well. When the Sultan Ahmed Mosque was finished, 7 short years, the Sultan decided to have a Mawlid, very much as we're having it, except he only wanted to have the Republicans. No, I mean the rich people invited. It was a gathering for the rich and famous of Istanbul. Well, the Shaykh al-Islam, the highest ranking authority in the land, issued a fatwa against the Sultan. And he said the Habib was not only for rich folk, he was a universal messenger. So have a Mawlid, but everyone has to come. So the Sultan has to do a do-over. And this time he invites the whole city of Istanbul. We're told that first the inner courtyard and the inner part of Sultan Ahmed Mosque fill up, and they keep coming and they keep singing. And then the Maidan between the Sultan Ahmed and Hagia Sophia is filled, and they keep coming until that whole historic peninsula is filled, and in unison, people are praising the Prophet. So next time that someone is telling us, why are you having a Mawlid? You can tell them, if it was good enough for the Sunni Khalifa to hold in the largest city in the world at that time, it is good enough for us today. Here's a little picture of the Mawlid inside these settings. These days, there's a lot of people who are talking about how it's important to take Rumi back. To take Rumi back from everything that non-Muslim folks have said about him and to show them that he was a Muslim. Well, yes, of course, he was a Muslim. I think the real question that I hope we ask is not just that Rumi was Muslim, but how it is that what it has been to be a Muslim, what it has been to be a follower of Muhammad, has also been shaped by this tradition of love, of mercy, of compassion, of poetry, of song. So here's one thing that Rumi has to say about the Habib. He says at one point, من که باشم باد و خاک و آب و آتش مست اوست. Who am I to speak? The four elements that make up this world, earth, water, fire, air, these are all drunk with God's love. عشق از او آبستن و این چار از عشق او. Love, he's using a poetic, suggestive, even erotic metaphor here. Love is pregnant with God. Imagine when love is your father and God is your mother, or other way around. And the four elements are born out of love. This whole world is made out of love. And then just when you think love is some kind of mushy sentimentality, he goes to the Habib and he says, عشق است طریق و راه پیغمبر ما. Love is the way of our Habib, of our Prophet. We are born out of this love, and this love, the way of our Prophet, has become our mother. You got to love your mama, and the Prophet taught us that, to love your mama 3 times before you even get to the Baba. Even think about how we talk about these days about an-nabiy al-ummi, right? How do we translate that today? God forbid the illiterate prophet. If we want to do it better, we say the unlettered prophet. But our sages have always known he's an-nabiy al-ummi because he's the one that loves you more than your mama. He's the maternal prophet. He is the one that has a mother's love for the people. Some sages like Jami have even elaborated on that. As I come to the end of the time that we have, let us remember who this Habib is. He is the one of whom and about whom God says, Laulak, repeats it twice, Laulak, if it were not for you, Ya Muhammad, if it were not for you, I wouldn't have created the heavens and the earth. The whole creation is created out of that divine love for the Prophet. You see sometimes in old Ottoman books, illustrations like this, blessings on the Prophet, of course, and then at the bottom, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We sent you as a mercy, not just to this world, but to all the worlds, and creation itself is part of God's love for you. Well, when they would illustrate the books of all the prophets, they talk about how it is that same Nur Muhammad that lights up all of these beings. So let us pause here in the interest of time. There could be more that one could say and would say, perhaps should say. But let's remember that if we talk about Al-Madinat al-Munawwara, the luminous Medina, why is Medina luminous? Medina is luminous because it contains the light of Muhammad. This whole world is luminous because it has been graced by Muhammad. As the Awals in Pakistan used to sing, Jahan Roshan ast az Jamal-e Muhammad. The whole world is lit up through the beauty of Muhammad. And I will pause and turn it back to our friends with one last simple saying from Maulana Rumi. This one is out of my heart's gratitude to Arshe and Radia and Imam Sohaib and now Imam Khalil. Maulana was once asked to describe the reality of the Habib. And this is what Rumi said. He said, when you see the earth is the body of Muhammad. When you see the heavens are the thoughts and imagination of Muhammad. And then someone asked him, and what do you have to say about the Arsh? What do you have to say about God's throne? Of which the Quran says that God placed himself on the throne, on the Arsh. And to that, Maulana Rumi said, the throne is the heart of Muhammad. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barakana ala Muhammad kama sallaita ala Ibrahim. Assalamu alaikum.